Thank you so much, and I am here finally. So, thank you, Professor Sharma and Professor Rajesh and all of you for inviting me. Very pleasant to be here, and Professor Sharma particularly, I think I know him for a very long time now. We share common things, and always a pleasure interacting with him. He is one person whose company I always like. So, there is so much of laughter when he's around. So I think that will continue to be the case for many more years to come. I think 65 years. Whenever you think you are old, just think of Trump. And at 78, the guy is taking up the entire world. 68 is not good. So I hope you are able to hear me and now able to see my presentation too. Yeah, talk. So I will not talk anything about my technical areas, but I see that the program is more about policy and things like that. So I will talk about my own views on what India lacks right now and what we need to be doing collectively. So that is what I will focus on in the 10 minutes that I have. I have been now particularly concerned about these two aspects, the conscientious research and conscious innovation. I think that is what the country needs now more than ever. In all measurable parameters, we seem to be doing well, but unfortunately, on ethics, on honesty, on rigor, I think things are definitely going in a reverse direction. So that is what I believe we need to be concerned about. And to me, the conscientious research implies the research culture grounded in honesty, rigor, and ethical responsibility. And conscious innovation is being aware of the societal requirements and the consequences of what we create. I think these two, I believe, India needs to look at more seriously. And this is one slide where I try to summarize all that is happening in India. India currently ranks number one in terms of number of institutions. There are a large number of institutions. But in terms of enrolled students, we are only second in the world. A lot of institutions are there, but very tiny institutions. ANC, Umesh comes from one of the, I believe, is the finest institution in the country on a per faculty output basis. But ANC has just about 43, 44 faculty, while an institution like ANC must be having 10 times more students and easily 5 times more faculty. And that is the status of many institutions in India, many good institutions in India. So we haven't scaled our institutions, and that is where the financial models for running these institutions and institutions and the government investment on R&D. I think some of these are very important. In terms of research output, we seem to be doing well. Third in terms of the research output. But again, these are all just bean counting, just counting papers in some database. That's not going to make us a great nation. This publishing papers, definitely I have never made anybody get. So I think the important thing is the knowledge to wealth translation. I think there we are not doing perfectly. Patent filings, and we are again finding lots of patents. How many of these patents is the right of the day is under the concern. The citations wise, we are 9 per citation, but again it is just a measurable, measured parameter. And there again there are lots of challenges that we are seeing in terms of how these citations are being achieved. So I think this is what I call the conscientious research, where we seem to be moving in a different direction. The innovation is one parameter where one is measuring the knowledge to wealth translation, and there we are 29 in the world today, and that is also primarily because of IT and some of these sectors, where the e-commerce kind of areas, where India has created a lot of unicorns, almost like 150 unicorns exist today in the country. And thanks to some of these unicorns, the way they have been able to create such wealth, we are at least 39 for innovation. But otherwise, the huge deep tech kind of research to creating startups, so we have actually done all that great. We are not spending enough money. We are 54th in the world today for percentage GDP allocation. If we don't even have enough researchers, the number of researchers per million population, we are 83rd right now in the world, and we have just about 300 scientists per million population, while developed countries, for example, China has close to 2,000 scientists per million population, and US has close to 5,000 scientists per million population. So we again need to increase the scientist base if at all we ever want any impactful innovations coming out of India. Academia and industry collaboration, we were 82nd last year, and this year we have fallen by another 4 points. So we are 86 today for academia and industry collaboration. This is among the national countries in the world. So I think these are the biggest challenges that we are facing today. And already investments in India are also pretty small. We are only spending about 0.2% of GDP on R&D, while this is the industry spending on R&D. And that's also the reason why Indian industry has not been able to develop any new technologies or processes. So nothing much has come out of Indian industry, primarily because they are not investing enough in R&D, and everybody just gets technology from somewhere and manufactures something here. But there is no original kind of product development or process development happening in India. And secondly, because of R&D investments being very small in India. The US industry, US is much larger economy, and is spending 2.7%. South Korea is 2.9%. UK industry spends 2.1% of GDP. I think these are the challenges. These slides summarize what are the challenges that we are facing and what we need to be doing. If at all anything has to be in India, we need to improve the academic industry collaboration. And for that, there are a lot of discussions happening. I am also part of many such forums where many discussions are taking place, but unless we intervene to a policy point of view, I think all this reaching to the industry and all of that is not going to make a difference. Hopefully, in some way, some policy mandate will be given to industry to spend money or to collaborate with academia, or at least spend money for their own R&D. Some of them need to happen. The 1 lakh crore fund probably is still in the right direction that government has created, but again, we need to see how that will translate into action. And these are currently the challenges that we need to be able to address. And these are the challenges. So therefore, when I talk about this conscientious research, I think the NIRF is one of the major culprits right now. So though NIRF is ranking institutions and all of that, but again because they are just counting papers in certain databases, people are doing all kinds of things possible to just show a higher common, and that has given rise to lots of challenges. India is also among the top 3 countries in the world when it comes to this, when it comes to distractions, and there are a lot of inconsistencies in NIRF. I have been writing about it in Times of India, especially the column, some intervention. There are some of my writings on NAD again is a big challenge that writing the citation library is hurting India's academic reputation. This is one major challenge that we need to deal with. And it is the issue here is when a measure becomes a challenge, it is considered to be a good measure. That is where India's problem currently lies. And how do we correct this? And this is again where the biggest, since NIRF has created this menace in the country, NIRF only can solve it. And I have also been working with the NIRF closely to see what we can do to address this challenge. And one of the ways I have always been suggesting is to introduce negative marking for lack of research integrity. And that NIRF now finally this year, NIRF ranks hopefully will give that negative ranking to universities, following his kind of previous practices to publish papers. I think once that starts happening, hopefully it will be slightly better. But other than Prof. Where there is some stability, but otherwise it's all noise right now. But I have written a paper in current science on some of these challenges and the major problems with NRF and all of that. So I will end my slide saying that the national education policy indeed is a good way India can reform its education sector. And initially, according to the moral movement of India, if you look at the US universities, the one reason why the US universities have done so well for themselves is because of the Modi Act, which is known as the Land University Model, and the implemented in 1982. In the 1800s and 19th century, US was not the leader in higher education. It was Germany and Europe, England particularly, Germany and England. And a lot of Nobel prizes of that era used to go to scientists in these countries. And US was basically following whatever was happening in England and Germany. But the Land University Act in the US made all the difference. Basically, what the Act did was it connected the US universities with the societal problems. And it essentially said that to receive any grants or any support from the government, you need to work on such grants of learning which are agriculture and mechanical, which were the pressing problems in the society at that time. And that connect with society is what transformed the US universities to what they are today. I think that probably can happen with Indian institutions too. And I often say that most of the research that one is doing in India falls under the solution looking for a problem, and from that solution to a problem is the direction that we need to take. And I think that is where the way we fund research, the way the academicians find a research problem, instead of taking these problems from library, if at all we connect with industry, connect with ministries, connect with strategic agencies, and pick up the right problems there and work on them, I think a lot of things can change in the way we conduct research today. I think that's all what is required here. So that kind of an ecosystem where the industry, academia, strategic agencies, line ministries, all of them working together, right on societal problems, in my mind can be a way India can create universities which are essentially what happened in the US with the Modi Act. So I think if anything can become our Modi movement, I think India will be fine in the next few decades to come. And I think probably that needs to happen. I think that it's not much time, it's already running late. Thank you.